So, you know how in two of the previous videos, I joked about how I was gonna have problem with the video length because of how I ordered the fights compared to the builds? Yeah, this is why. Because it turns out, after failing Mursaat Overseer twice, mostly because I kept messing up my mechanic, we ended up setting what I think is a new personal record, at least for non-emboldened, of just over 2 minutes. Which means I'm going to have to kind of speedrun this script. Okay, here we go. Power Catalyst has had a bit of a roller coaster history that unfortunately I do not have enough time to talk about. What is important to know is that the entire thing revolves around the Hammer 3 skill. Yes, there is a Daggers variant, no I'm not talking about it. This is about Hammer. In each element, the Hammer 3 skill is kind of the same thing. When you use it the first time, you get a passive benefit depending on the element that I like to call a bubble. When you have all 4 bubbles, then the flip over ends up hitting really hard. So the goal is to always have up the fire and the air bubbles because they give you damage benefits, while using the maxed out flip over whenever you can. It's a pretty unique playstyle that's definitely worth trying, but it's also very much not easy. There are a lot more intricacies to it that honestly, I don't think I'm qualified to explain. But I can give some tips. One, you can just not use Fiery Greatsword. You can just replace it with Fire Elemental. I bring this up a lot, but especially on this build, it gives you so much more breathing room for a minuscule loss. 2, and this has helped me a lot, the basic version of the 3 has no cast time. So you can run the risk of accidentally double tapping it and casting the flip over when you don't want to. To prevent this, just cast the basic version while you use another skill that has a long cast time, aka basically anything that isn't Hammer 3 or an auto. Anyway, tips aside, this build does also suffer from a lot of the same problems as Power Weaver does. While technically you have some better defensive options, your utility and C are extremely lacking, and messing up your elemental loop at any point is way more punishing than in other builds, so do keep that in mind. But overall, it's a fun build with a high ceiling in both damage and skill level. Just use it at your own risk. Whew, under 2 minutes. Made it.